Okay, so this story is new to me. I guess it's just because I focus highly on the MJ Lisa dynamics and the things within those stories, but I somehow missed this one and I'm really disturbed. I'm really disturbed. I am really, some of y'all might have seen it, but maybe you didn't. I don't know how this passed me, but so Elvis Presley's cousin says Priscilla's actions toward late Lisa are a betrayal of the highest form. So I was trying to figure out like what was going on here. So there's a couple of things. At times Priscilla's like really protective of Lisa, but then obviously there's some other things in the background. So let's go through it. Okay, so she fires back. There comes a time when you have to speak, and silence is no longer an option. I have stayed silent with regard to Priscilla, but there comes a time when a person takes a step too far. After pointing out things Priscilla had said about Elvis, including that he was allegedly addicted to drugs before his death at age 42 and 77, she zeroed in on Lisa Marie. One thing that did pop out that I seen on Reddit, she basically put a passage that she got raped by Elvis, which I would totally believe. It just almost comes off like she passes it off and just, whatever. I don't know. I mean, it's just a weird thing, but it was there. And then I didn't read the book, so I don't know everything in it. And nor do I know anything about this mother's boyfriend. But I did think something was weird. So she tried to say Nicolas Cage was really good for her daughter, even though he was like a total monster. And I was like, well, that's not healthy just because you like him. But the whole dynamic is bad. And then you see where he's at now. So, no, no. Donna, however, told YouTube followers that she must defend Lisa. She was a talented, intelligent, and caring soul. Her life after Graceland presented challenges, but part of that pain came from being severed from the family who loved her and from the home that was truly hers. Which is probably partly why she fell into the trap of Michael, because he did the love bombing on her. There was a weird thing there that was really dark and effed up. And, you have to come to get more information, like more information on her family life. I didn't know anything about her family life. It just seemed like they had some back and forth with the mom. So in her own book, Lisa bravely admitted, and I didn't read her book either. So these are actual things that were not in my view at the time. So she suffered at the hands of her mother's boyfriend. That reality, not some imagined genetic weakness inherited from Elvis. And thank you for pointing that out, because we've been saying it's actually environmental and not, oh, it's just some gene passed along because the dad is this, right? As part of the thing that's being passed along is the parental dynamics for sure, was part of the burden that Lisa carried along with her own personal issues that Lisa documented in her own work. That's interesting because I like her. I liked her a lot though, but the strange dynamics between my mom and letting her men abuse me, yeah, is actually very similar, but I didn't know that. And then for Priscilla to discredit her daughter's words by suggesting that Lisa's testimony should be dismissed on the grounds of her own struggles is just merely unjust. It is a betrayal of the highest form. It is an attempt to strip Lisa of her credibility, to discredit her voice, and to diminish the truth she fought to put into the public record. Nobody, not even her mother, had the right to attack her truth in that way. Elvis deserved to be remembered in truth, not in scandal. And his daughter, well, I don't know. She may have said things that were truthful because Elvis was kind of a mess and it's probably not going to come off great to their family either. But, it's kind of like a mix of a lot of things. So daughter Lisa deserved the same, to be honored as gifted, compassionate, and resilient women. I mean, I think what's important is the truth, not to try to paint one side of a story. But that's kind of what you're saying is it doesn't need to be manipulated in any other way. I mean, what she's saying about the boyfriend is not good, right? Are we honoring the guy because he did something or he said something, right? So it's just trying to get the truth out. And then sometimes women do make up some additionals. I'm not saying Lisa did, but there's just some people that have mental health issues that do that. Um, and no, because after I seen the other thing from this story, yeah, what the hell? For his part, Edwards wrote in his 1988 memoir, Priscilla, Elvis, and Me, developed an inappropriate feelings for Lisa as she grew up. Now, this apparently was the norm for women to expect this, for men to be a bunch of pedophiles. 1988, Satanic Panic Chant. Y'all got that. I'm on it. I'm on it. So in and they put it in a book. They just put it out, I guess. I never read this. I'm horrified, you guys. Watch what he said. In one passage, he recalled spending time in the pool with Lisa Marie, whom he bounced up and down in the water. I became aroused, he wrote. A sick feeling crept slowly into the pit of my stomach. I was craving Lisa sexually. What? In the statement to People, Edward said Lisa Marie claims were absolutely untrue. I never molested Lisa, and I'm shocked at the suggestion that I did. Oh, he's a narcissist, right? He writes this thing out. He's like, you're sick for even saying that. Not me being sexually aroused by a child. Okay, so I was encouraged to embellish. Oh, now he's going to throw it on someone else. I was encouraged to embellish a harmless anecdote about Lisa. Oh, really? That's harmless? That's disgusting. Some pro-pedo thingy in my memoir from the 1980s, and now regret that I did. Oh, no, you were telling the truth. And it was totally acceptable in the 1980s for men to be attracted to children. And we women are supposed to watch out for you, because that's why they said, don't go out of your house, don't do all this. And apparently Lisa's mom, she comes from the era where it's okay for adult men to be going at kids when it never was. I mean, obviously there's a part of the population that was chronically like trying to fight this, but then there's these women. So yeah, then there would be a headbutting because mom's not protecting me. That guy's disgusting. Now mom's saying, it didn't really happen. It's like any guy that's going to write that. If you're not a pedo, you wouldn't write that because somebody said embellish something. Oh. But all these men did it, okay? And I was totally going back into their writings. I didn't catch this one. I don't know how I did it, but I was going back into their writings and they're just outright saying it. Oh, I went on this minor and apparently the mom didn't care. Like, they're just like arrogant, right? The arrogance about it. And then when they got called out, all of a sudden they start targeting the hell out of me. That's a narcissist. That is through and through a narcissist. I'm like, I didn't put it out there. You wrote it. Now we have to make up something when you're getting caught about it. Oh, somebody else. Oh, no. And, yeah, so I looked at the link to this. You could look at it too. Yeah, I was like, I cannot even believe what the hell I just read today. I wasn't planning on the story. It's like, so, whoa. Thank you, Donna, for telling the truth about Elvis's ex-wife who seems to have fooled the world. Well, it doesn't mean she's like 100% like this horrible person all the time, right? It's just, let's zoom in on this specific because it definitely is. Elvis is not a perfect, Elvis is definitely not a perfect person either. So Elvis did these bad things, right? Some in some, portions of things. And it's like, man, she could just carry on for him still. Like, that's pretty, wow. But it's kind of showing kind of the pass off of it. So to have the boyfriend in that dynamic, it makes sense, at least to me. But I guess they don't want him to say anything negative about him either. But I think some of those things are true too. So, but her pushing down that, yeah. She minimized Nicolas Cage. I mean, that was just kind of the thing where I was like, no. Nobody should be in a relationship where there's like fighting dynamic and craziness, and then he's off with a really young girl too. So he's not a good, he's a hot mess, okay? She don't need another hot mess, but all these guys are a hot mess. Like Michael, everything, and it's like you can't get it you can't get it right because the men are a hot mess, but they have a hot mess of a mother. I don't know Elvis's mother's thing and all that, but he went after a young girl, right? That thing. So yes, yes, yes. He's not a perfect person either in it. The comment about him being turned on by little Lisa is just that I had enough today, you guys. Well, this was put out here in 2024, so that's probably why I didn't see it either. The ex-boyfriend denies molesting Lisa when she was 10. They began dating when Lisa was 9. And I guarantee you that some of these like total narcissist dads, like the same thing, like with their own kid, and they're all content warning. Hey, if you're over here, you know everything's a warning. Because this is the only topic we talk about. Michael is now 80. He's going to be 81 or he's 81. Okay, that no one from the publisher called him for comment on the memoir. I'm in shock. That's untrue. I was like a father to Lisa. In one instance, Michael detailed an afternoon in the pool with Lisa, in which at one point Lisa wrapped her legs around him as he bounced her up and down. And then he got aroused, and then eventually his feelings for Lisa became a point of conflict between him and Priscilla, leading to the end of their relationship. He's admitting, I'm a pedophile. I actually want this little 9-year-old. Priscilla's fears had been justified all along, Michael writes. My love for Lisa always bordered on intimacy. As Lisa grew to a young woman, it was a constant battle for me to keep my feelings in the proper perspective. When Lisa threw her arms around me in a daughterly way and said, using one of her many pet names for me, Murky, I love you, you're so cute, I melted. She unknowingly exuded the same power of sexual charisma that her father had wielded over millions. Ugh! But why? But while Lisa previously addressed Michael's book in 2003, she told Playboy of the memoir, he's a sick fuck. He made his attempts at coming into my room and being inappropriate while drunk. And it wasn't until writing her own memoir that she elaborated on her claims. Wow. I see I somehow missed that whole shebang there. And oh my God. The first instance of Michael allegedly touching Lisa inappropriately occurred when she was asleep in bed, and she woke up to find him on his knees next to my bed, running his fingers up my leg under the sheets. If I moved, he stopped, so I moved. Lisa also detailed a second disturbing interaction, which allegedly occurred when she was 10. He said he was going to teach me what was going to happen when I got older. He was putting his hands on my chest and saying, a man's going to touch you here. There, he put his hand between my legs and he said, they're going to touch you here. And I think he gently kissed me and then left that night. Oh. According to Lisa, whose father was Elvis, after telling her mother what had occurred, Priscilla flew into her room and slammed the door. Eventually, she called me in and said that Edwards wanted to apologize. In his apology, Lisa said, the Mommy Dearest actor cited his time abroad for the interaction, telling Lisa, I'm so sorry, but in Europe, that's how they teach kids, so that's what I was doing. That's not an excuse, but we know in Europe, when we're going through all these sexual assault cases and the history, in the boys' school, like they all got touched and raped, and there's a combination of factors and things going on there. And in places in Europe, the AOC wasn't proper and they were raping children in Europe. And then it's slowly now becoming some bigger topics, mostly like when you talk about Paris and, you know, some other places overseas. So I guess his dad just touched him in the groin. He said, you know what? Women are going to touch that. I don't know, but that's his excuse for it. Basically what he's saying, as he's using it as some type of excuse, perhaps, he's saying like, oh, we all got sexually molested when we were kids. That's actually the line there. He's just saying, we all got touched. Like, it's normal to me. Aren't we supposed to all touch like little girls and do these things? Like, My mom and dad did it. Everybody else touched me. The pastors touched me. What? Okay, so that starts to look ignorant versus like knowledge. I don't know. It's weird. That's a weird area. Because then he's saying it like that. It's an excuse, but it's also like you should know not to touch kids. So that you have an awareness because you're like, I gotta break up because this is becoming conflicting. I don't know. It's just a thing to it. It just you gotta sit with these like perpetrators and what they're saying and what they're actually saying. It's like, oh, we all got molested. That's what happened with the progressive people. They were basically admitting, oh, we all got molested, so we should make it legal. So it's like a comment like that. Eventually it became that he would touch me and spank me. There's that corporal P, guys. That is a sexual abuse. And that's a way for perpetrators to get to your naked butt. Okay, so this is absolutely wow. Now. Christian. Noting he left with bruises, she'd be left with bruises, telling me not to look. Don't look at me. Don't turn your head. I assume he was jerking. You're right. It's a sexual abuse. And then kids will sexualize it. Luckily, she didn't. It didn't turn into a thing where, and it could, or it turned into a thing where he chronically did it. She got used to it, and then they sexualize it, and then they do it to other people, right? Okay, so, we keep pointing it out with the guy that promoted child abuse for the Christians that became really popular in the 80s where parents were doing this to their kids. Well, they F them up sexually, mentally, everything. And then there's these ones who are just like, I am creeped the hell out. I was creeped out the minute that guy, the pastor, was like, I can't wait to get to your butt. Like, as a kid, you know something's wrong, but I don't know what. And then, yeah, as I'm older, it's just like, oh, he's a pervert, dude. That's why he wanted to do that. And then he got to little boys, too. So it wasn't, there's no lying, guys. Yeah, I didn't read any of this. Oh my God. It's kind of horrible because me talking about her, and I'm actually talking about these topics, but I didn't know these things happened to her. So it's kind of interesting. I just really started to get her at a point. And it makes sense. Like it does. And I would be depressed. There's a lot of things in this where luckily I didn't go down the road she did. But there's a lot of excess. And then you get involved in cults and other things kind of screwing with their head. They're in all this. Like we could fix you. And it's actually doing all the same abuses that all these other men did. And just everything about it is all kinds of wrong. But I want to throw this out there to you guys because some of you might not know it either. It's strange because it's in E! Online and Yahoo and a book and I don't know. It just went woo again. I'm horrified. I'm horrified. I am right now. Oh, and the roles that women are playing in creating narcissists in the men. So the huge roles of the narcissist mother and the mothers, they also sexually abuse. So to even kind of minimize it and disregard it is a form of that. But then when you look at the mom's background, she has an adult man, right? Praying, and then her parents did that. And maybe she just has not been allowed to come around about it. I mean, just some other things. Like her actions probably would have been way different if society at that time allowed the conversation, but religion, okay? Religion's a big factor in all this stuff.